A constitution is the arrangement of magistrates in a state. A friend to all is a friend to none. A likely impossibility is always preferable to an unconvincing possibility. All human actions have one or more of these 7 causes: chance, nature, compulsions, habit, reason, passion, desire. All human beings, by nature, desire to know. All men by nature desire knowledge. At his best, man is the noblest of all animals. Separated from law and justice, he is the worst. Change in all things is sweet. Character may almost be called the most effective means of persuasion. Comedy aims at representing men as worse, tragedy as better than in actual life. Criticism is something we can avoid easily by saying nothing, doing nothing, and being nothing. Courage is the first of human qualities because it is the quality which guarantees the others. Democracy is when the indigent, and not the men of property, are the rulers. Dignity does not consist in possessing honors, but in deserving them. Each man judges well the things he knows. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. The coward calls the brave man rash, the rash man calls him a coward. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. It is not the possessions but the desires of mankind which require to be equalized. One swallow does not make a spring, nor does one fine day. What is a friend? A single soul dwelling in 2 bodies. Hope is a waking dream. He who is to be a good ruler must have first been ruled. Some men are just as sure of the truth of their opinions as are others of what they know. Man is by nature a political animal. Men regard it as their right to return evil for evil, and, if they cannot, feel they have lost their liberty. Revolutions are not about trifles, but they spring from trifles. He who is unable to live in society, or who has no need because he is sufficient for himself, must be either a beast or a god. Youth is easily deceived, because it is quick to hope. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. No great mind has ever existed without a touch of madness. Anybody can become angry, that is easy, but to be angry with the right person and to the right degree and at the right time and for the right purpose, and in the right way, that is not within everybody's power and is not easy. Excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. It represents the wise choice of many alternatives. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Wishing to be friends is quick work, but friendship is a slow ripening fruit. Those who educate children well are more to be honored than they who produce them, for these only gave them life, those the art of living well. Patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet. Those who know, do. Those that understand, teach. He who has overcome his fears will truly be free. The educated differ from the uneducated as much as the living differ from the dead. Whosoever is delighted in solitude, is either a wild beast or a god. I count him braver who overcomes his desires than him who conquers his enemies, for the hardest victory is over self. Poverty is the parent of revolution and crime. The aim of art is to represent not the outward appearance of things, but their inward significance. It is not enough to win a war, it is more important to organize the peace. The antidote for 50 enemies is one friend. The high-minded man must care more for the truth than for what people think. Pleasure in the job puts perfection in the work. To write well, express yourself like the common people, but think like a wise man. One swallow does not make a summer, neither does one fine day. Similarly, one day or brief time of happiness does not make a person entirely happy. Learning is not child's play. We cannot learn without pain. Man is by nature a social animal. An individual who is unsocial naturally and not accidentally is either beneath our notice or more than human. Society is something that precedes the individual. Anyone who either cannot lead the common life or is so self-sufficient as not to need to, and therefore does not partake of society, is either a beast or a god. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. For the things we have to learn before we can do them, we learn by doing them. I have gained this by philosophy. I do without being ordered what some are constrained to do by their fear of the law. The more you know, the more you know you don't know. It is not always the same thing to be a good man and a good citizen. All human actions have one or more of these 7 causes: chance, nature, compulsion, habit, reason, passion, and desire. The energy of the mind is the essence of life. It is during our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light. He who cannot be a good follower cannot be a good leader. Without friends, no one would want to live, even if he had all other goods. Dignity does not consist in possessing honors, but in the consciousness that we deserve them. Wise men speak when they have something to say, fools speak because they have to say something. Where your talents and the needs of the world cross, there lies your vocation. Misfortune shows those who are not really friends. Learning is an ornament in prosperity, a refuge in adversity, and a provision in old age. Happiness is a state of activity. All persons ought to endeavor to follow what is right, and not what is established. Through discipline comes freedom. Character may almost be called the most effective means of persuasion. Great men are always of a nature originally melancholy. Fear is pain arising from the anticipation of evil. We make war that we may live in peace. To lead an orchestra, you must turn your back on the crowd. In all things of nature there is something of the marvelous. The only stable state is the one in which all men are equal before the law. The law is reason free from passion. Philosophy can make people sick. Youth is easily deceived because it is quick to hope. Comedy aims at representing men as worse, tragedy as better than in actual life. Courage is the first of human qualities because it is the quality which guarantees the others. Mothers are fonder than fathers of their children because they are more certain they are through your own. He is his own best friend and takes delight in privacy, whereas the man of no virtue or ability is his own worst enemy and is afraid of solitude. Anyone who has no need of anybody but himself is either a beast or a god. The wise man does not expose himself needlessly to danger, since there are few things for which he cares sufficiently, but he is willing, in great crises, to give even his life, knowing that under certain conditions it is not worthwhile to live. He is of a disposition to do men service, though he is ashamed to have a service done to him. To confer a kindness is a mark of superiority, to receive one is a mark of subordination. He does not take part in public displays. He is open in his dislikes and preferences, he talks and acts frankly, because of his contempt for men and things. He is never fired with admiration, since there is nothing great in his eyes. He who is to be a good ruler must have first been ruled. All earthquakes and disasters are warnings, there's too much corruption in the world. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all.